Hey there, and welcome to the Motion Science video podcast. And today I'm going to talk to you about why online learning is more than just button pushing. Hey there, and welcome to the Motion Science video podcast. My name is Cameron, and today I'm talking to you about why online learning is more than just button pushing, if I can say that right. And it's something I feel is very important to talk to you about because I see a lot of people doing it. Okay. And what does it mean when I say that it's more than just button pushing? What I find is that there are so many tutorials out there that are just teaching you how to push buttons to create the same thing that what they're showing in the tutorial. Okay. And I'm not dissing on anybody. I'm not saying that this creator or this artist is teaching you something wrong. I think it's great when they teach you exact buttons to push. I find myself like I go through those tutorials myself, and it's because I go through them because I want to learn a creative process. Okay, not because I want to learn to recreate the exact same piece that this artist just created, and that's the problem. Okay, that's what I see a lot of artists doing, a lot of motion designers specifically, because that's who I'm following. That's what they're doing. Okay. I also get asked a lot within my own trainings, like, why can't you zoom in on this effect and these numbers you're typing in? I can't see exactly because I don't on a lot of my tutorials, I don't actually zoom in and out on values because I don't want you to enter the exact same values, right? If you're listening to what I'm saying in my trainings, I'll say like, okay, we're going to type in an expression here. Like my one of my favorite expressions is the wiggle expression. And so if you've taken any of my trainings, you know that I love the wiggle expression. I use it on a lot of different properties from positions and scales and cameras and lights and effects and you name it. Wiggle can be applied to about anything, which is why I love it, right? But I'll say in my trainings like, hey, type in wiggle parentheses 2 comma 25 in parentheses, and maybe you'll hear me say it, but maybe I'm not zoomed in enough where you can't quite see it. Depends on the resolution of your screen. I record everything in HD. So some people are working at 4K and larger displays, and things can be a little bit less, can be little bit more pixelated, and they can't see these values. Um, and they'll say, "Well, I can't see the numbers. Like you got to zoom in." I don't want you to put in the exact same numbers, right? I want you to see the process. I want you to listen to what I'm saying, and by listening, you can input the exact same values. But I want you to take what you learn, and I want you to create your own thing. Okay. Now, again, I'm not here to diss on anybody. Okay. But I see it all the time. Like, I'm a big user of Instagram. So, currently, so if I'm on Instagram, I'm constantly getting tagged from different artists saying, hey, hey, will you repost this? That's what they want me to do, which I'm not. I repost some things. If you're watching this, the chances of me reposting your work are pretty slim. It has to align with what I'm showing through motion science. Don't tag me with stuff that is straight up vector illustrations, unless it's texturized or it got that motion science flair to it, because I'm not going to repost it, right? I don't, I'm not a big believer in that kind of stuff. So I will get tagged all the time with these lessons that I can tell right off the bat, like this is straight off of a tutorial. I've either seen the tutorial on YouTube or somewhere else on social media. I've seen other artists creating the exact same thing. Maybe it's a slightly different color palette that they're working with, or slightly different, objects. But I see it all the time. I see it every day, right? So don't. There's nothing wrong with you recreating something that you've learned and watching someone teach you button pushing, but that's not going to make you a better artist. That's just going to make you. You're just going to create work that you're going to put on your reel. And as a creative director myself, I'm going to immediately recognize that and say, this guy doesn't have natural talent. This guy is a button pusher. So if this guy, someone tells him enter these values, he can do that. But anybody can do that, right? And now I know, and again, I'm not dissing anybody. I just want you to think differently about how, if you really want to be a motion designer, you need it's okay to recreate something, but don't put that on your reel. Don't put that out there. Take what you've learned and make it your own, right? That's what I teach through motion science. And that's where the world needs to go with training. That's why I created motion science, because I saw all of these tutorials specifically on YouTube at the time, and they were all the same in terms of, okay, now we're going to input a value of 10. We're going to move X 100 pixels. We're going to scale up 102.3%. And then you see people creating the same work over and over again, and there's a lack of creativity, right? And like I said, I'm not the only one who can recognize this. If you want to work for a creative director, if you want to work for a production company, they're going to recognize this as well. Maybe it won't get caught right at the beginning, but someone's going to catch on sooner or later. If you get brought into a studio, I worked with an artist one time. Just for a little story here, I worked with an artist. He got brought in on a project with a team of me and several other guys and gals, and he got brought in because he showed this piece that he had done, and I'm not going to name any names, but he had done this piece, and it was an impressive piece. But he got brought in this job, and we quickly realized within a couple of days this guy did not know what he was doing. He literally pushed some buttons that someone had told him what to do, or he had taken it from a tutorial, and he had created this piece that was sold him off of his reel. But when we were asked, like, okay, we know you can do this stuff, so do that kind of same technique to this project, he couldn't do it because he didn't understand the process, the workflow, the techniques enough that he could think on his own creatively to create something. So we need to be original with the work that we're putting out there, especially on social media. Okay. We need to take what we learn and apply it to our own work and make our own, projects based on training lessons. The biggest thing I could tell you right now is to learn the fundamentals of design. If I can say the word fundamentals, learn the fundamentals of design, learn the fundamentals of motion, right? And you can do that. You can learn design fundamentals. You can learn motion fundamentals by button pushing, by watching trainings on tutorials on YouTube or other creators, and learn why these fundamentals work, right? If I could push anything right now, I would push Stylecraft on you, because in Stylecraft, you learn the fundamentals of design, right? And then what makes good design, what makes good, powerful motion design work, and why does it work? And I teach a lot of this kind of stuff in ProFlows as well. I don't just teach you how to push a button. I teach you how to think creatively, how to go about a process and figure it out on your own, because you want to create your own magical pieces, right? We all want to. So again, I love the socials, right? I find inspiration in Instagram and Pinterest specifically, those two. Every day I scour those looking for inspiration, and I look at tutorials and trainings from other artists because I don't know everything, right? None of us know everything, and we're always trying to push ourselves. So I love to go and learn from other artists and see what they're doing. And I've done it since the beginning. When I was in a project as a remote artist, you don't have a team of people around you. So when you get stuck, you really get stuck, and you have to figure out a way to do that. So I love to watch trainings and figure out, okay, what's the process I need to go through to create what it is I want to create? And then I learn that process, but then I apply it to my own work in my own special, unique way as a motion designer. So, use sites like Pinterest and Instagram. If you're not following motion science on Pinterest, it's pinterest.com/motion science. Instagram is the same, Instagram.com/motion science, or just search my hashtag or my @ symbol @motion science on both of them. Follow my accounts. Pinterest, I put a lot of inspiration up there. I don't post a lot of tutorials from other artists on there, but I do post a lot of GIFs and motion pieces and design pieces because they are inspiration to me as an artist. So definitely check those out if you haven't. But I love to look. The best way I can say to build your own work and not just button push is to find the pieces that inspire you. And if they're not trainings, they're not tutorials, that's okay, because you can see these pieces that inspire you, and they inspire you for some reason. I want you to dissect those pieces. Okay, I want you to look at a piece and say, how are they doing that, and why are they doing that? Not just how, but why are they doing that? And what about this piece works? What about this piece really draws me in and grabs my attention and makes me say, wow, that's amazing motion design. And then figure out how they did it, right? Figure it out. Just break it down. Even break down one little scene, one little 5-second piece or a 10-second piece. Break it down. And I do it every day, every week. I break down scenes that inspire me, but I create my own work based on it. Okay. So, and if I don't know how something is done, like when I was first learning parallax, I didn't understand it. I found a couple tutorials on how to do it. I didn't take the same image that they were doing. I didn't even take the same type of camera moves, but I would take the very basic principles and apply that to my own motion design. So there's my my speech to you on why online learning is more than just button pushing. And I think that if you approach online learning as more than just button pushing and you apply principles and workflows and techniques to your own work, you will exponentially scale as a motion designer. I invite you right now to check out ProFlows Plus. That's my monthly membership. I'm teaching so many techniques and workflows every single month. Every month, this membership grows. It's where I'm putting all my emphasis for motion science. It's all going into ProFlows Plus. You're going to learn how to do the how and the why, and it's going to make you grow as a motion designer. And I would also invite you, depending on the time of year, to check out Stylecraft, because that's going to push you even further, right? Stylecraft opens up twice a year. So that's my speech for you today. As always, thanks for listening to what I have to say. Until next time, I'm Cameron, and this is Motion Science.